The KEEL Morning Show with Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Breaking news and trending talk on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Good morning. Erin here. Robert is on vacation. Got my buddy Dan Keel here.
Good morning.
Matt Parker at the command center. Going to do a lot of talking about crime today. Look at the numbers inside and out. Is our city actually more dangerous now than it has been in years past? We'll talk about that. The lieutenant governor is going to join us this morning. Does he really want to become governor?
Is he calling for John Bell to resign?
No, don't think so. He actually kind of wants to stay out of it. We'll talk more about that. Also in the local news, tragedy last night. Fire claims the life of an elderly man. We'll talk more about that this morning as well. And the man who is accused of killing his ex-girlfriend live on Facebook is indicted for stiffer charges. That's coming up as well, along with traffic and weather together. And Matt takes a look at sports straight ahead on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Those daily like the others, you're invited to participate in our nationwide I Take Red Partner Reaction Guarantee Trial. We're seeking participants for this nationwide trial, not only to prove it works the very first time you try it. We guarantee your partner will also notice the difference. Forget those slow-acting blue pills and join those who proudly take red. Over 50,000 pills have already been claimed and supplied.
Even though the park
Power of information. KEEL News now.
One man dead after a mobile home fire. The fire happened at the Given Mobile Home Park around 9 o'clock last night. According to Shreveport investigators, the blaze trapped the elderly man in his bedroom, ultimately leading to his death. No names have yet been released. The final act of this year's special session trilogy is less than a week away, with the administration and many lawmakers scrambling to find some extra cash for programs like TOPS. House Appropriations Chairman Cameron Henry says the Department of Health is one place the state should look if it wants to plug those budget gaps.
They came up with an additional $40 million. That was a surplus that they had that didn't tell anybody about it to the last possible moment. So I think people are really beginning to question their sincerity on exactly how much money they need.
The next special session starts on Monday. Jonathan Robinson, the man accused of killing his ex-girlfriend live on Facebook, indicted for first-degree murder. Robinson was originally arrested and charged with second-degree murder, but the grand jury upgraded the charge after hearing grisly details about the crime. Robinson also faces 7 counts of attempted first-degree murder related to a shootout with police. Community coming together to fix up an aging park. Matt Parker with that.
Quirby's Park in Shreveport is about to turn 100, and the community is coming together to give the aging park some much-needed upgrades. Even though the park is owned by the city and maintained by SPAR, the complex has fallen into disrepair over the years, needing more than $1 million in repairs. The Quirby's Park Foundation and Shreveport Green have been working together to return the park to its former glory. Every dollar collected goes directly back to the park. The city, for their part, plans to revitalize the pool and upgrade the tennis facility. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Bossier Parish prisons have joined a program to hold federal detainees captured as part of the ICE program. Sheriff Whittington says accepting the federal detainees makes sense because of cuts to funding for housing state inmates. Today's the one-year anniversary of the shooting of Congressman Steve Scalise. He was hit in the hip by an assault rifle fire in a politically motivated shooting that targeted Republican lawmakers at a congressional baseball game. Scalise says his recovery was a tough journey, but he made it through with help from his family.
Put a lot more focus to me on the things that are important in my life. And first is my family, and just being able to spend that quality time and appreciate that quality time with my family has been really important.
You can see the baseball game tonight on C-SPAN. And a woman in Minnesota is okay, but she's lucky. For some reason, most say it was alcohol-induced, the woman stuck her head in a truck's oversized tailpipe while attending a music festival. Her head got stuck. Firefighters had to use a power saw to get her free. She was cited for underage drinking and escorted out. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. .101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Let's check traffic with Ruby.
Starting things off, looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on East Kings Highway near Uri Drive. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today will be partly sunny with a high of 91, then patchy clouds and a low of 74 tonight. We'll have sun mixing with clouds tomorrow, high 93. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zaire.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin in the morning. Robert is on vacation. Got my buddy Dan Keel here.
Not the Robert.
And Matt Parker is here as well. Our pal Greg Adams has been doing some interesting things in the afternoon. He's on from 5 to 6. And he's a numbers guy. I mean, he can grill it down and look at the detail. And he's been working hard on the crime numbers for Shreveport and Bossier. And he's going to come in after 8 o'clock and really tell us that the numbers aren't anywhere near where they have been in previous years. And the numbers are kind of stunning. And part of his theory is really right on point. But Matt had another theory he was telling me about earlier this morning that, pretend like he's not listening.
Okay.
Right on point, man.
He may not be listening to you.
Right on point.
There's a show happening?
Yeah. I hadn't even thought of it, but he hit the nail on the hammerhead. And I thought, goodness, sometimes he's got like a bright light bulb over his head. Numbers are fairly, even keel. Not where there's no real spike in the numbers. If you believe that, you haven't looked at them. But Matt, explain your theory.
Well, what I was saying is you take what Greg's been talking about where, the numbers aren't really that bad. It's nothing like outlandish. We're really down overall. But you take what is perceived and put out on social media and, just the news being on 24/7 now, like shooting, and they just keep covering it, so it's getting pounded in your head.
Oh, that's Greg's main theory.
Yeah.
That's his
That's
theory.
what I was saying about perception yesterday.
But your theory's even better.
But you take that, that getting drilled into your head, and then you take a city that hasn't been well maintained where it looks like a
third world?
Like a third world dumpster fire. You put those two together, and all of a sudden, even the nicer areas of town that just haven't been necessarily maintained, where their crime is relatively non-existent, just because of the way it looks, it's like, I don't want to go there. I'll get shot.
And you brought up Hirsch, because if you look at the numbers around the Hirsch Coliseum crime numbers, they're not that bad.
Basically, unless you drive into some of the neighborhoods,
Queensboro,
the three hot spots.
Sure.
Down, a couple of miles down the road. Outside of that, there's, essentially no crime in the area, no violent crime, a few things here and there, but essentially nothing's happening there. But that part of town just looks so bad. You got the baseball field that is just an eyesore. Some of those stores are just, shut down and boarded up. It looks bad. So when you're getting off the interstate in that part of town, you're like, I don't want to stop here.
It looks creepy.
Roll up the windows.
Yeah.
And they say perception is more important than reality.
Yeah.
And what I find interesting watching the things on social media is everyone wants to connect emotionally to it. If there was a truck stolen on a certain block, oh my gosh, that was so close to my house.
Yes.
Well, the other 100 trucks in the neighborhood right there are okay. So statistically, it's not a bad problem. It's like a 1% deal. Mm-hmm. But if it's your truck or your neighbor's truck, or you can relate to the person, or you know the person, you're feeling it. And that's what I was saying yesterday about the perception. We're feeling it's unsafe. Mm-hmm. And that's something that still has to be addressed.
Oh, absolutely. And the point that Greg made that so drove it home for me, if I roll the clock back 10 or 15 years ago, and let's just say I'm going to pick Ginger, next door, Morning Madhouse. If Ginger's car got stolen, she and I don't socialize. She's 24 years old. We don't socialize. We don't hang out. I don't know too much about her personal life. She doesn't know too much about mine. If her car got stolen, I may never know it 10, 15 years ago, okay? I may never hear her talk about it. We may never stop in the hall and she'd tell me her car was stolen. Today, roll the clock forward 15 years, it would have been put on Facebook. People would have been chatting about it. Everybody would have been talking about it, so I would have, oh my gosh, Ginger's car got stolen.
Or the station trailers have been ripped twice.
Yes. Absolutely. People don't know. They don't learn about that stuff.
But is that a bad thing? See, that's what there were those of us in the know. I used to be a prosecutor in the 90s, early 90s. Those of us in the know knew how bad things were. And we knew where the bad areas were. We knew who the bad guys were.
Right.
Would you
have liked, that raises a good question. Would you have liked today's social media climate back then when we had really high numbers?
I don't like today's social media climate at all. So I don't think I would have liked it back then.
But
I don't know that it's helping
catch bad guys.
I don't know that it's actually helping to catch bad guys. And I'll get in trouble for this with my friends who are on that page that listens to scanners and does what they say.
Sure.
But knowing about it is not a bad thing. Keeping it under wraps, and that's one of the criticisms the administration is getting, city administration, Mayor Tyler, and the city, is that we're a great place. We're wonderful. We're not as bad as it's that whole thing, because we want people to come here. We want people to live here. We want people who do live here to feel safer.
Sure.
But if you want to make them feel safer, bust these people.
Arrest them.
Arrest the ones that are doing the shooting. Arrest the ones that are pulling door handles in the neighborhoods. And believe it or not, SPD officers down at the line are trying to do that.
Oh, absolutely.
They're really working it.
And that's another thing that you don't have room to keep everybody in jail. I get that. You got due process. They got to get out of jail. I understand that. But if you know If I know Matt's a bad guy, and every time Matt gets out of jail, Matt's going to go do something bad.
But he's 17 for this purpose.
Yeah.
So we're going to slap him a couple of times, tell him no, and try to reform him.
I say, my theory is, make his life a living hell.
Well, that's what I was saying. And if you are, let's say you're 17 and your first indiscretion was you pulled a car door and took somebody's BB gun out of the front seat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, they shouldn't have a BB gun laying in the front seat. So let's
don't
blame the victim for that.
And your car door should be locked.
Yeah, for stupidity or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other thing that's really going over social media. But let's say you're 17 and you commit this indiscretion of stealing a BB gun off a car seat. If you're 22 and you're throwing your gang signs up on your Facebook page and you're still doing crimes, I don't know that we ought to protect their juvenile record. I'm kind of the attitude of screw you. You know, we gave you a chance. We tried to keep your record clean, not to ruin you for life.
Mm-hmm.
But you're an idiot. You've kept doing this anyway.
Right.
So we're going to look back on that and use it for sentencing, and we're using it for, you know, and like you say, make the. I also think we're too light on DWIs the first time.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, we work this graduated foot in the water. It's boiling the frog. We just barely do something to you the first time you do anything.
Right.
And so then, boom.
But there'll be those that will say, and they're going to scream at the radio right now at you. They'll say, well, that 17-year-old, if he had opportunity here.
If he had a job.
He could have found a job.
Oh, yeah.
He wouldn't have kept being an idiot.
Or I would say if he's popular with the young ladies because he's got tattoos across his chest and he's a bad guy. Because you all know from back when we were in high school, or at least when I was in high school, not 100 years ago when they opened Corby's.
Yeah.
But if you know the bad boys got the girls.
Yeah.
You know that happens. That's a reality that continues.
Absolutely. And while we're talking a little bit about the mayor's office, we have some big news on that front.
Big news.
Big news. We'll bring that to you and talk more about that and the implications. That is all coming up next on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Right now, Ruby's up.
Starting things off looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on East Kings Highway near Uri Drive. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, partly sunny with a high of 91 today, then partly cloudy tonight, low 74. Sun and some clouds, high 93 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Must finance through Ford Credit. See dealer for full details and 7918.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Maddie with sports.
Two Shreveport boys will be in the field for the U.S. Open, which starts today. Sam Burns and Philip Barbary both qualified for the field. Burns tees off at 11:30, Barbary at 1:30. You can watch the action on Fox Sports 1. North America will be home to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The U.S., Canada, and Mexico came together to beat out Morocco for the right to host the event. According to reports, 10 of the 17 sites will be located in the U.S. Some of the front-running cities include Dallas and Houston. Speaking of the World Cup, the 2018 edition of the event kicks off today. Brazil is favored to win it all this year. And we're getting a rematch of one of the biggest boxing fights in a decade. Natty Golovkin and Canelo Alvarez have agreed to fight on September 15th. The first fight went the distance and ended in a split draw. And the Texas Rangers lost last night to the LA Dodgers 3-2. The Houston Astros, however, laid a beatdown on the Oakland A's, winning 13-5. From the KEEL Sports Desk, I'm Matt Parker.
.1017 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert and Erin in the morning. Dan Keel filling in for Robert.
Hey.
Thank you for being in here.
My pleasure.
Matt Parker is at the command center. Okay, I don't think I'm supposed to say this on the radio yet, so pretend like I didn't. Okay. If anyone asks, I didn't say it. 1 week from today, birds are telling me another person getting in the mayor's race. You heard about it?
I've heard some things, but I don't know that I've heard about it.
Stephen Jackson. Going to pull the trigger. Going to do it. Going to get in the race. And I have had 7 conversations with some real prominent folks who say this is going to put this race in a tizzy. Because you're going to have Adrian Perkins and Stephen Jackson battling for many of the same voters. People in the African American community who are disgruntled with Mayor Tyler. It's the Tarver camp against the Glover camp. You know, it's kind of a redo of that. And then you're going
the Jackson legacy camp.
Yes,
for Glover.
Absolutely. You're then going to have Jim Taliaferro and Lee Savage battling to be the conservative Republican to get in the runoff.
White guys.
Yes, and then you're going to have Ollie Tyler kind of on her own island with everybody throwing spears at her.
Are they really going to? I'm kind of wondering if they're not going to marginalize her, say she hadn't really done anything, let's not talk to her. I mean,
that might be it.
That's a possibility.
Now, I've been working on in my brain, who comes in to do a forum? Who do we get? Who do we invite? Who would show up? And do you know what everyone has told me? And I don't know that I believe this. Everyone with any kind of insight into this says if I were to invite those 5 candidates, Stephen Jackson, Adrian Perkins, Leo Savage, Jim Taliaferro, and Ollie Tyler, to come in, let's do a free-for-all, go a couple hours, I don't care, however long it takes, that Ollie Tyler would not show up. She would not partake of a free-for-all.
Well, the traditional political advice is the incumbent stays back and stays quiet.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what she's been doing, except for occasional appearances when she's cornered.
Right, absolutely. And that may be the advice her people give her. You lay low, You let them,
let them fight it out.
Bicker it out with each other.
You got the job. You got the pulpit.
And let them go ahead and do it. But the problem with that is they might. But see, I think if she's in the room, she's 73, right? 72, 73.
You think they'll be nicer to her?
I think they would almost have to.
Well, I'm not so sure about that because I have seen where two of those people, Ollie and Jim Talaferro, have been in the room, and Jim's very gracious, but he's not cutting any corners or pulling any punches.
Right.
And now that he's announced, it's on.
Yeah. He's going to go right for the jugular, you think?
Oh, and I expect to see that video on campaign. I don't know because I don't have any inside information.
Oh, wow.
Who are you? You the Crime Stoppers guy?
When she didn't recognize him? Yeah.
That's going to come back and bite her in the...
That really will. You're right about that. I hadn't thought about that. But I don't know. I don't know how this all shakes out. And somebody told me, and I'm trying to quote it because I don't want to sound right. It's now to the point of people are trying to figure out who's going to be the Victoria Provenza in the race.
The wild card, and I mean that literally?
Yeah. You're going to have somebody that may just edge out the Stephen Jacksons or the Adrian Perkinses from the runoff because they're duking it out with each other.
You may already have that person.
You think? I think you might be right.
Leo may be that person.
He might be.
He's a nice fellow with a lot of people that like him.
Yes.
I'm watching, and I try to be objectively annoying or annoyingly objective.
Right.
A lot of his campaign material really isn't substantive yet.
Yeah, we have to get into some nuts and bolts, absolutely. But that's what I'm hearing. I don't think I've gotten Stephen's official inviting me to his announcement, but I expect it any day. I expect to see something any day now.
Qualifying's a month away.
Yeah. Boy, it's going to get fun. I can't wait. It's going to be a good year. We're going to talk more about that. Also, we have the Lieutenant Governor joining us just past 7. You don't want to miss that because, John Kennedy wants Billy Nungesser to be governor. That's what he's calling for. So we're going to talk to Billy about that coming up after 7. Right here on 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Ruben.
Starting things off looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on East Kings Highway near Uri Drive. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today will be partly sunny with a high of 91, then patchy clouds and a low of 74 tonight. We'll have sun mixing with clouds tomorrow, high 93. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zaire.
Of information. KEEL News now.
Today, the 1-year anniversary of the shooting of Congressman Steve Scalise. He was hit in the hip by an assault rifle fire in a politically motivated shooting that targeted Republican lawmakers at the baseball game. Scalise was out for months, but says he was anxious to get back to work.
To be able to get back and do the job I love. I really did love doing my job, serving Southeast Louisiana in Congress and serving as majority whip in leadership, and to be able to have that ability to come back.
You can see the game tonight on C-SPAN. One man dead after a mobile home fire in Shreveport. The fire happened at the Gibbon Mobile Home Park around 9 o'clock last night. According to investigators, the blaze trapped the elderly man in his bedroom, ultimately leading to his death. A neighbor attempted to rescue the man but was not successful. The investigation continues. Bossier Parish housing federal prisoners. Matt Parker has that.
Bossier Parish prisons have joined a program to hold federal detainees captured as part of the ICE program. Sheriff Julian Whittington says accepting the federal detainees makes sense because of cuts to funding for housing state inmates. Whittington says the state only pays the parish $24 per inmate, while the feds pay $62 per inmate. And with budget cuts looming, Whittington says that he refuses to make citizens in Bossier pay more to house state inmates. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Querbees Park in Shreveport about to turn 100, and the community comes together to give the aging park some much-needed upgrades. Even though the park is owned by the city and maintained by SPAR, the complex has fallen into disrepair. Needs more than $1 million in upgrades. The Querbees Park Foundation and Shreveport Green have been working together to return the park to its former glory. Every dollar collected goes directly back to the park. The city, for their part, does plan to revitalize the pool and upgrade the tennis facility, though no timetable for that has been given. Senator John Kennedy's call for Governor John Bel Edwards' resignation came as a bit of a surprise to many. Kennedy is widely reported to be preparing a run for governor next year, and this could be the first of many salvos between the two. ULM political science professor Dr. Josh Stockley says calling for resignation is usually reserved for major violations, but not budget disputes.
I don't think Senator Kennedy's urge is at all appropriate. The governor's done nothing wrong. Normally you call for resignation when you have a gross dereliction of duty, and that's clearly not happened.
Kennedy's calling for Edwards to step down, saying his lack of leadership has resulted in the ongoing budget crisis. Now that the AT&T Time Warner corporate marriage has gotten the blessing of the courts, several companies will make a beeline for the altar. Comcast, in fact, has now made a $65 billion offer for the entertainment arm of Fox. They say you can't fight City Hall, but an angry South Texas woman tried something else. She gave a small bag of dead cockroaches to a city official to protest newly planted palm trees that she blames for more unwanted bugs in her neighborhood. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
I'm going to the commissary.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin in the morning. He is on vacation. We got a little short segment here, so I have a question for you guys. Because this story, I think, is among all my years, stupid things people do when they're drunk, this might be number one. I think I found number one. But I asked you guys before, while the commercials were on, what's the stupidest thing you've ever done while inebriated? Matt, I know you have a long list to choose from.
No, I do more stupid stuff sober than I do drunk, for one. And the only one that immediately comes to mind involves an ex-girlfriend. And
you're a gentleman.
And as much as I'd love to throw her under the bus, I'm not going to do it publicly.
Not going to do it. Okay. You're not a big drinker, Dan.
I don't think I'm a drinker, period. I can't even remember being drunk.
Wow.
One New Year's, I had a little sip of one of those Teewincy bottles of champagne in Germany, and I wasn't driving anywhere.
Oh, okay.
But I just don't.
You're not a drinker at all.
I've done some stupid things. But
oh, yeah, we know about that.
Yeah.
We know about a lot of that. Well, this is from Minnesota. It's a woman who's under age 21. She's at a big music festival. You know, but imagine, you know, Red River Revel. Lots of bands are playing. Lots of fun stuff going on. Big crowd. She's kind of toasted. Big truck. You know those big trucks way up off the ground?
Yeah. You're like an 18-wheeler tractor cab
I don't know.
thing?
It must have been a big
monster truck.
Because it had a big tailpipe. You know, big old tailpipe. She thought it was a good idea.
Do that again, because is it the way you did it? It's just barely bigger than your head.
Yes, it's about a foot wide, I would imagine.
Okay.
She managed to think it would be a good idea to put her head in the tailpipe. So she plops her head in the tailpipe. Now, thank God the truck's not running, because she probably would have died. But she plops her head in the tailpipe, and guess what? Got stuck.
Had to call the fire department.
Had to call the fire department. They had to use a power saw to get her free.
What about the dude that owns this truck with this big baffly thing on the back of it?
I know.
I bet he's ticked.
I bet he is. Now, they did charge her with underage drinking. She got escorted out of the festival. Had to sober up. I just, you know, I've done a few stupid things while inebriated.
So now she's got a big chrome crown.
Yeah, and she looks like a dog coming from the vet.
As a testament.
Well, eventually they got it cut off, I'm sure.
Yeah, they got it cut off. Would you ever put your head in a tailpipe?
No. Why would you ever do that? Why?
Who would do that? What for?
That's a frontal lobe issue there.
I mean, I could think, you know, well, this person passed out here in a strange place. That I get. This person got into a bar fight. I get that. But sticking your head in a freaking tailpipe?
What would make you think of it?
You think some friends kind of egged her on a little bit?
They might have. They probably said, I wonder if somebody's head will fit in that tailpipe. And she's like, yeah, let's try it. Let's see if it'll fit. Dumb. I can't say the word.
Have you ever done anything stupid while inebriated?
Oh, why were you?
Oh, wait a minute. It's in the limousine.
Oh, I've done so many things.
You can't talk about it.
Yeah, I've done so many.
See, she wants us to share our dirty little secrets while she just sits over there.
Like,
oh, look at me.
This is the eponymous Robert and Erin show.
Well, you know I've done stupid things under the influence. I've done them, many of them on the radio. Because they got me drunk a couple of times on the radio.
When you find the Ambien story, let me know, and I can relate to that.
Yeah. Just note to self, don't put your head in a tailpipe. Not a good idea. Coming up next, we're going to talk a little bit more about the state budget, you know, because I'm so excited. Lawmakers are getting together again on Monday. I'm sure they're thrilled.
Yes.
They can't wait for that. That's all coming up on 101.7 FM 710 KEEL. Right now, here's Ruben.
Starting things off looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on East Kings Highway near Uri Drive. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today will be partly sunny with a high of 91, then patchy clouds and a low of 74 tonight. We'll have sun mixing with clouds tomorrow, high 93. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
1017 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert and Erin in the morning. Dan Keel is filling in for Robert, who is on vacay this week.
Big shoes.
Yes. I'm a little bit miffed at lawmakers, I guess, on both sides. And my reason for being miffed is that 2 years ago, they implemented this temporary tax. And we were told in the 2 years they're going to fix the problems. Going to have tax reform, going to cut the budget, going to take care of things. And we went these 2 years, and essentially we fought for 2 years. Partisan fighting, nothing got done. Now we're up against the final deadline, the July 1st final deadline to get things done.
There's no such thing as final in politics.
And I heard
they're going to keep miffing you.
Are they?
Yeah.
Again. What happens if they don't raise the money? Will these dastardly cuts really happen? Will we really put nursing home patients on the curb? Will we really end the SNAP benefit program in the state?
Have you noticed the pressure points keep changing?
Yes, they do. Matt, you had something to say.
Well, I was just going to say, the difference this time is the governor signed a budget, so no matter what, something's going to happen. There's a budget, which means, they're on par with the law.
Yeah, but
then cuts have to come.
But the cuts to DCFS that are in the budget don't say SNAP benefits are cut out. Well, he can shift those around in that DCFS budget. Is it another John Bell threat?
There's a lot of things in each department that's protected. So when you say, hey, cut $35 million, well, we can
have a few choices.
We can either eliminate this program or we can fire the people that run the program, which essentially eliminates the program anyway.
Yeah.
So, that's what drives me nuts. As we go through this, we had 2 years to, all this legislation went through for constitutional conventions or restructuring or undedicating funds, and everybody went, no, both sides. Well, that's my people's stuff. I don't want to unprotect that. And then, same thing on the other side. And at the end of the day, we're in the same situation where it's either we raise taxes or something's getting shot down.
Mm-hmm. I heard an interesting thing. Go ahead, Dan.
Why are they having a special session again?
Because they want to raise the revenue to shore up the budget. To
plug
fund
the budget.
Yeah, to fund tops.
That's what one group wants to do.
That's what one group wants to do.
Are they going to be able to make legislative cuts to force the governor to make cuts across the board or whatever?
They really can't do, I guess they could go in there and say in the SNAP benefit program, do away with it.
They could do away with legislation.
They could target certain legislative.
They could repeal things.
What I heard late yesterday, I think I was listening to a New Orleans radio station, and I heard somebody who is really close into the Capitol who said what they think they're going to do is a temporary sales tax continuation. Let's just say it's a half a penny, but it's going to be phased out. So it's a half a penny for this year, then it goes down to a fourth or a third of a penny, then to a fourth, and in 4 or 5 years it's phased out, so that you have to make those cuts in that time frame, or introduce another tax measure.
Well, that seems to me that would lead to the attrition program that, let's say, the Department of the Education has a director, and they want to make temporary cuts. Well, people retire, people move, people this, people that. They don't fill the slots.
Right.
That seems like that's easy.
Yes.
To do that.
Right. I'm still miffed. I don't like this gun to the head that, here in the last 2 weeks, we've got to do it. We've got to do it.
Isn't it kind of an affront to your dignity and intelligence?
It is. They think
Erin McCarty, you're so stupid. We're going to scare you with what matters most to you.
They think we're idiots. And when I said something like that last time, I got in trouble, didn't I?
Well,
not idiots.
You directed it at one specific person.
No, she asked a question
Yeah.
whether a specific person was a moron.
But I think in this case, we can direct the idiot comment to 95, 98% of the legislature because everybody's just down there grandstanding instead of coming up with a real solution, which is what gets us in these situations where it's the 11th hour, we got to do something.
But you know, I'm proud of the ones, and I understand we need to work on shoring up some of our budget holes, but I'm proud of the ones who say, I'm not for increasing taxes. I will not vote for any increase in taxes. You're holding to your morals and your principles of what you think your people want.
Especially if you have a D after your name.
But there's not many of those. But then you have those who are, maybe I can be convinced to vote for a tax. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't.
If I get what I want.
Those are the ones that I struggle with the most.
See,
take a side and stick to it. You know?
The thing that bothers me the most about the people who are just like, nope, we're not voting on that no matter what, is okay, you can take that stance, but offer an alternative solution. And
You're right.
And just saying, well, make cuts. That doesn't really solve anything because, okay, we have, where would you like to make cuts? Give me a list.
But I have heard them say, do away with so many of the contracts. I've heard them say, revamp our tax code. They have offered suggestions, but they fall on deaf ears in a lot of cases.
Well, in a lot of cases, they will say, hey, we need to cut this and do nothing about it. They just kind of toss out the idea and don't follow through. If you want to make cuts, put some legislation together and try to, get votes,
Pass
which
a
is
bill.
your job.
Absolutely. 1017 FM, 710 Keel. It is 6:49. Here's Ruby.
I-49 South's got to clear all the way to Alexandria right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 westbound near North Market due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today will be partly sunny with a high of 91, then patchy clouds and a low of 74 tonight. We'll have sun mixing with clouds tomorrow, high 93. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
.1017 FM, 710 Keel. Lots of stuff to do in sports.
Two Shreveport boys will be in the field for the U.S. Open, which starts today. Sam Burns and Philip Barbary both qualified for the field. Burns tees off at 11:30, Barbary at 1:30. You can watch the action on Fox Sports 1. North America will be home to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The U.S., Canada, and Mexico came together to beat out Morocco for the right to host the event. According to reports, 10 of the 17 sites will be located in the U.S. Some of the front-running cities include Dallas and Houston. Speaking of the World Cup, the 2018 edition of the event kicks off today. Brazil is favored to win it all this year. And we're getting a rematch of one of the biggest boxing fights in a decade. Natty Golovkin and Canelo Alvarez have agreed to fight on September 15th. The first fight went the distance and ended in a split draw. And the Texas Rangers lost last night to the LA Dodgers 3-2. The Houston Astros, however, laid a beatdown on the Oakland A's, winning 13-5. From the KEEL Sports Desk, I'm Matt Parker.
.1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin in the morning. Dan's filling in for my buddy Robert.
Trying anyway.
Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser joining us just past 7 o'clock. Senator Kennedy calling for the resignation of the governor and wants Billy Nungesser to be governor. We'll talk about that. Y'all brought up something that Robert and I had a brilliant idea many, many years ago.
Oh, God. You're going to say this publicly?
Oh, we have, yeah. And I still think it would be brilliant. We probably would get child advocates on our butts. And
you may just for saying it.
Yeah, I might just for saying it. But we thought it was a great idea. Mm-hmm. You know, wrestling, back in the day when wrestling, it's still big, but, I mean, it was monstrosity huge. The days of Hulk Hogan and all that. We thought, why not have kid wrestling? Or kid MMA type fights.
I thought you said toddler.
I'm talking toddler. Yes.
Toddler Fight Club.
You're talking about pull-ups and things for their...
Pull-ups would be good, too. You could get...
brand endorsements.
Decorated pull-ups, yeah. But we give them the Little Tykes furniture they could bash each other with. We thought this was a brilliant idea.
Idiots.
Child advocates didn't like it much at all, and so we kind of trashed the idea.
I wonder why.
1017 FM 710 KEEL. Here's Rush.
Democrat mega-donor George Soros skirted disaster this week. He told the Washington Post that he hopes New York Democrat Senator Kirsten Gillibrand does not win the Democrat presidential nomination in 2020. You see, Soros blames Gillibrand for pushing her colleague Al Franken out of his Senate seat over sexual harassment allegations. Soros says that Gillibrand only went after Franken to help herself politically. Well, it didn't take long for the Me Too wing of the Democrat Party to blow up. And they're now calling Soros, who's one of the most generous donors in party history, a sexist pig. And they're warning other Democrats they better not agree with Soros if they know what's good for them. This week, the Me Too Democrats have had to swallow a lot from their madmen. Not only did their favorite billionaire, George Soros, go off half-cocked about Franken, Bill Clinton was interviewed by Judy Woodruff, who asked him about Franken, And his answer was a doozy. He said that norms have really changed in terms of what you can do to people against their will. Spoken like a true champ, Slick Willie, of the Democrat madmen generation. That just boggles my mind. And it took 2 days for anybody to remember he had said it. 2 days. Folks, if you own land, you deserve a great deal on a great tractor, and that's why you should visit my good friends at Mahindra during Mahindra Dealer Days right now. Your local Mahindra dealer has huge savings on Mahindra subcompact, compact, and utility tractors, plus a full line of utility vehicles. And Mahindra's long-lasting powertrain warranties, they still come standard. Enjoy the land you love from the comfortable seat of a new Mahindra tractor and use the money you save to do something special. But hurry! You need to buy before these huge Mahindra Dealer Days savings are gone. To learn more about the world's #1 selling tractor, it's easy. Visit MahindraUSA.com. That's MahindraUSA.com.
Take advantage of rock-bottom prices and test drive a Mahindra today at Kelly Tractor and Equipment in Longview, or visit kellytractor.net. That's kellytractor.net.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here is Ruben.
The intersection at North Market and North Hearn Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Old Minden Road near Airline Drive in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today will be partly sunny with a high of 91, then patchy clouds and a low of 74 tonight. We'll have sun mixing with clouds tomorrow, high 93. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 1017 FM and 710 Keel. KEEL, Shreveport.
Good morning, Robert and Erin in the morning. He is out. I've got Dan KEEL in studio.
Good morning.
Matt Parker is at the command center this morning. Lots to do today. Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser is joining us in about 8 minutes. Senator Kennedy says he thinks Billy should be governor.
Can I ask Billy about sharks?
Yeah, you could absolutely do that. Not a problem at all. Also talking crime in Shreveport later in the 8 o'clock hour. We're really going to delve into that because that's a big, big subject in our community. And lots to talk about. In the local news, we've got another tragedy in our community. A man is dead in a fire. And we'll have more on what's happening in Baton Rouge. That's all coming up right here at 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
The man accused of killing his ex-girlfriend indicted. Matt Parker has the latest.
Jonathan Robinson, the man accused of killing his ex-girlfriend live on Facebook, was indicted Wednesday for first-degree murder. Robinson was originally arrested and charged for second-degree murder, but the grand jury upgraded the charge after hearing grisly details about the crime. Robinson is also facing 7 counts of attempted first-degree murder related to a shootout with Shreveport police. DA James Stewart is deciding whether or not to seek the death penalty in the case. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Bossier Parish prisons join a program to hold federal detainees captured as part of the ICE program. Sheriff Whittington says accepting the federal detainees makes sense because of cuts to funding for housing state inmates. Whittington says the state only pays the parish $24 per inmate, while the feds pay $62. And with budget cuts looming, Whittington says he refuses to make citizens in Bossier pay more to house state inmates. One man dead after a mobile home fire in Shreveport. The fire happened at the Gibbon Mobile Home Park around 9 o'clock last night. According to investigators, the blaze trapped the elderly man in his bedroom, ultimately leading to his death. A neighbor attempted to rescue the man but was not successful. The investigation continues. Querbees Park in Shreveport about to turn 100, and the community comes together to give the aging park some much-needed upgrades. Even though the park is owned by the city and maintained by SPAR, the complex has fallen into disrepair, needs more than $1 million in upgrades. The Querbees Park Foundation and Shreveport Green have been working together to return the park to its former glory. Every dollar collected goes directly back to the park. The city, for their part, does plan to revitalize the pool and upgrade the tennis facility, though no timetable for that has been given. A Shreveport craft beer's popularity has exceeded expectations. 318 Golden Ale, named for the area code where you can find the beer, was released in March. Great Raft Brewing's tasting room manager Bob Thames says although you can find other beers from the brewery widely distributed, the idea behind 318 Golden Ale is to have a beer solely for North Louisiana.
The idea behind it from the get-go is to keep it in the 318 area code. One of these situations where we can grow deep, not wide with it. We're hoping one day to have this beer in everybody's hands in 318. If we can get everybody in 318, hopefully we'll move on from there.
Initially, the brewery expected to sell the equivalent of 4,500 cases in the first 90 days. However, they ended up selling closer to 7,000. The Justice Department's internal watchdog releasing its much-anticipated report on the FBI's handling of the Hillary Clinton email investigation. The report will be issued today. It's the culmination of an 18-month review of one of the most consequential FBI investigations in recent history. Two big new rule changes from the NCAA. Starting October 15th, college athletes will have the freedom to transfer to any university they want without fear of being blocked from their current school or any others. Tiger Rag Associate Editor James Moran says the transfer rule will give players more freedom.
All you have to do if you want to transfer is inform the school, and the school has 2 business days to enter your name into a national database where other coaches or other schools can see it, and then they can just reach out and try to make contact with them. Basically, the school can't control where you go anymore.
The new redshirt rule will allow players to appear in as many as 4 games and not lose a year of eligibility. In the wake of the suicide deaths of Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain, the Suicide Prevention Hotline has gotten its largest volume of calls in history. The number is 1-800-273-8255. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. .101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Things are looking a little cloudy on the streets. Here's Roop.
Intersection at Texas Avenue and Murphy Streets dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Airline Drive near Green Acres Boulevard in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today will be partly sunny with a high of 91, then patchy clouds and a low of 74 tonight. We'll have sun mixing with clouds tomorrow, high 93. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zaire.
1017 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin in the morning. Robert on vacation, got my buddy Dan Keel here.
Good morning.
Maddie Parker is at the controls, and we want to give a special welcome this morning to Governor Billy Nungesser.
Governor Light.
Hey. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
We're doing all right. Senator Kennedy...
has he jumped the shark?
Yeah, had a moment, said John Bell should resign, and he said Bill Nungesser should be governor. A big mess you're trying to stay out of, right?
Yes, I'm flattered, but I got the job that people of Louisiana elected me to do, and absolutely the best job in the world promoting the great state of Louisiana. And I just hope we can get through this special session and fix the budget and get Louisiana moving forward.
Has the governor mismanaged our budget crisis?
Well, I think, I always think there's places to cut. Every day I'm finding things, contracts, that even under the lieutenant governor, we've cut millions since I've been elected, and we continue to do that. And I think there's waste all over government. It absolutely can't be fixed before July 1st. I think we've got to keep a small portion of that penny, fix it now, and going forward, we need to look at every dollar we spend in Louisiana and make sure we're getting the most bang for our buck. I don't think we're doing that, but I think we've got to come to some compromise in this special session so we can continue to operate the state and move it forward for the next year.
We have our highest general fund budget, if not in history. It's the biggest since the 2008 budget when we had all the influx of Katrina dollars. I have a hard time wrapping my mind around that being our biggest budget ever when our population's on the decline, jobs are leaving the state. Do you struggle with that too?
Well, absolutely. I look at what under my department, we had $54 million swept from the state parks over the last 8 years to fix budget holes under the last administration. Those repairs and maintenance in state parks that have not been done are in worse shape now. So as we try to keep all our state parks open and do as much as we can with the money we have, when you don't fix something, it gets worse. So I think in a lot of cases, things that have not been done properly for many years, you wake up one day and the problem's worse. But I do believe when the money's there, historically, we spend it. And also, I struggled with it with my department. They said, well, if we don't spend it, we're going to lose it. I said, well, we're not going to lose it. It's going to go back. It'll be spent somewhere that it's needed in Louisiana. And I struggled with that with employees as parish president. And I used to move up the cutoff date every year and freeze the budget just so they didn't waste money.
Billy?
So,
Go
yes,
ahead.
sir.
I was going to say, you trying to make a state park in New Orleans, which people are asking about that one. But the really interesting question is your family goes way back in politics.
Absolutely.
You know a lot about what's going on. Would you be political consultant for just a minute and tell us what you think Senator Kennedy's up to? Is he going to run for governor?
Well, I think he's definitely considering running for governor. And, I get beat up on because I'm not critical of a lot of the elected officials. I believe we've got to work and solve problems. I'm very vocal when it can make a difference. I was very much against this Harris deal. I felt like they could have wrote a check up front, fix the budget problem, give the teachers a pay raise, and say thank you for having the only land-based casino. Anytime you got to hire 17 lobbyists, it isn't good for Louisiana. But I didn't beat up on the people that voted for it. I tried to convince them it wasn't a good deal for Louisiana. But I think sometimes we get into the political fighting publicly, and that's not good for anyone or good for Louisiana. We've got to fix this thing and not make it after this special session. We fix it. Whoever's going to run for governor can take off the gloves and go at it. But let's do what's best for Louisiana right now.
Billy, let me ask you. You just brought up something that intrigues me. I hope you don't mind. I didn't give you a heads up on this ahead of time, but you brought up you brought up the Harris deal, the moving on to land based for the casinos. folks have said the Shreveport-Bossier market could benefit most because we're being hurt the most by Oklahoma. From the tourist standpoint, do you see these local boats moving on land and having bigger operations? Do you think that would be a good thing in terms of bringing in tourists, trying to keep some of those folks from going to Oklahoma to come here?
Well, I think it's the casinos definitely bring people, and but we also got to keep in mind when they're in there spending money in the casino, they're not eating in the restaurants, they're not spending in the shops, but they are a draw. I think anytime you make concessions to a casino, allowing them bigger space on land, I feel like they need to give something to Louisiana for having that right. And it's just like when we allowed the boats to stay docked, that we made them keep the deckhands on the boat even though they were docked. We could have given all the teachers a pay raise with that money. So I think we've got to – it's okay to give concessions if it's for the greater good or it's going to bring more taxes. But I really think that when people have exclusive rights to do something in Louisiana, we ought to negotiate the best deal for the people of Louisiana. Because people will say it's not tax dollars, but it absolutely is. Anytime we get income that we don't have to tax the people, it's for the greater good of the state.
Do you see these boats expanding? Do you see that happening pretty quickly in our market?
They absolutely will. Look, there's money in these casinos. Remember when Harris first came to Louisiana in the first year, they were losing money and they went to the legislature and got it cut from $100 million to $50 million.
Mm-hmm.
In the next year, they were one of the biggest money makers. Don't be fooled. They're not in the business because they're barely making it. They're making money. And we've got to always keep in mind it is a vice that hurts some people that get in there and get addicted to it. So if you're going to have that, you've got to have it benefit the state and the people that it affects to the best ability.
Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, if something happens and John Bell resigns, I hope you invite me to your inauguration.
You're going to come be on my staff, okay?
Oh, I like that. Thank you, Billy. Take care. Appreciate the time.
Bye-bye. Y'all have a great day.
1017 FM 710 KEEL. Here's Ruby.
Intersection at Texas Avenue and Murphy Street's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Airline Drive near Green Acres Boulevard in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, partly sunny with a high of 91 today, then partly cloudy tonight, low 74. Sun and some clouds, high 93 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
.1017 FM 710 KEEL. Time to check on sports.
Two Shreveport boys will be in the field for the U.S. Open, which starts today. Sam Burns and Philip Barbary both qualified for the field. Burns tees off at 11:30, Barbary at 1:30. You can watch the action on Fox Sports 1. North America will be home to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The U.S., Canada, and Mexico came together to beat out Morocco for the right to host the event. According to reports, 10 of the 17 sites will be located in the U.S. Some of the front-running cities include Dallas and Houston. Speaking of the World Cup, the 2018 edition of the event kicks off today. Brazil is favored to win it all this year.
And we're getting a rematch of one of the biggest boxing fights in a decade. Natty Golovkin and Canelo Alvarez have agreed to fight on September 15th. The first fight went the distance and ended in a split draw. And the Texas Rangers lost last night to the LA Dodgers 3-2. The Houston Astros, however, laid a beatdown on the Oakland A's, winning 13-5. From the KEEL Sports Desk, I'm Matt Parker.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert and Erin in the morning. Robert is on vacation. Dan KEEL is here with me.
In the big chair.
I got Matt Parker here. Do you know today, June 14th, is Flag Day? People forget about that. It's the day to honor our U.S. flag.
It's also the president's birthday, isn't it?
Is it? President Trump's birthday?
72 years young.
72. Okay, wow. Flag Day started, I'm trying to think, I think Congress adopted this day honoring the flag on June 14th, 1777. That was the adoption of the Stars and Stripes as the flag. That's when we changed to that flag. And you know, the funny thing is, with regard to flags and country flags, I don't know flags. Some people do. But when today starts the World Cup, and that's the only time I get to see all the flags.
Just look on your phone. There's a whole flaggery over there.
I should look.
They're too small to be able to tell one from the other.
But if you're flying a flag, there are some rules. I don't know, Matt, if you've seen this, but I think the flag cannot be displayed at night unless it's lighted.
Mm-hmm. It needs to be higher than state flags and the MIA flag.
Mm-hmm. And it has to be lowered, obviously, during darkness. And it has to be folded a proper way, the proper way, too. I wish I had my son in here. He could tell you all about
it. Can't touch the ground. I mean, there's literally probably about 20 rules of ways to handle the flag.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to use it commercially.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And to dispose of it. Say you went to pull your flag out to put it up today. You
solemnly.
You have to burn it solemnly. Absolutely. And if you have a flag that's tattered, and this has happened, and poor Shreveport. I pick on Shreveport all the time, but one day I'm downtown, and they have a flag that flies, a U.S. flag that flies near the Barnwell. I guess it was, what is it now? It's the aquarium. My bad.
Mm-hmm. You know, that big job getter.
The aquarium. And this U.S. flag was so tattered. It was tattered and ripped up and torn, and I raised holy stink. And if you see a flag that's tattered, perhaps the people who put it up don't know.
What about those flags? Somebody got the good idea to market real estate by putting those little cheap Chinese plastic flags in the grass along the street all over the place.
Yeah.
It's like they lasted 5 days and they were not red, white, and blue any longer.
Right.
And they were touching the ground.
I like, does Bossier put them out today? Because they put them out
They
a
put 'em
lot
out
on special
at the Civic
days.
Center or the government plaza.
I think
thing.
that is so cool.
It's cool. It's a big round
Tip
area.
of the hat to Bossier, because that when you drive into the Bossier complex and they've got all the flags lining the roadway, it rocks. It really does. I hope that somebody text us on the Shreveport Security Systems text line.
318-392-1884. That's 318-392-1884.
Send us a picture if Bossier's got them out there. By
you can do that? You can send pictures to the text line?
I think you can send us a picture on the text line.
I'm pretty sure you can do everything except call us.
Yeah, you can't call us, but you can text us a picture.
You can call us names.
Absolutely, because I'm curious. I hope they have them out today. I hope somebody remembered, put our flags out. This is Flag Day, because I just think it's so cool. I'm almost like leave them out all the time, but then they get ruined and you couldn't use them.
They fade.
Yeah, absolutely. But it is Flag Day, the day to honor the flag and take a moment to remember what our country stands for.
And we have all the proper rules of what you can do with the flag, the proper way to salute it, and all that stuff at KEELnews.com. So if if there's ever anything, well, I've always wondered about this. We got everything you need to know about the U.S. flag on our website.
All the flag etiquette. It's KEELnews.com. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Right now, let's check in with Ruby.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Uri Drive near Olive Street. And we have some traffic delays on Old Minden Road near East Texas Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, partly sunny with a high of 91 today, then partly cloudy tonight, low 74. Sun and some clouds, high 93 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Power of information. KEEL News now.
Today, the one-year anniversary of the shooting of Congressman Steve Scalise. He was hit in the hip by an assault rifle fire in a politically motivated shooting that targeted Republican lawmakers at the baseball game. Scalise was out for months, but says he was anxious to get back to work.
To be able to get back and do the job I love. I really did love doing my job, serving Southeast Louisiana in Congress and serving as majority whip in leadership, and to be able to have that ability to come back.
You can see the game tonight on C-SPAN. One man dead after a mobile home fire in Shreveport. The fire happened at the Gibbon Mobile Home Park around 9 o'clock last night. According to investigators, the blaze trapped the elderly man in his bedroom, ultimately leading to his death. A neighbor attempted to rescue the man but was not successful. The investigation continues. Bossier Parish housing federal prisoners. Matt Parker has that.
Bossier Parish prisons have joined a program to hold federal detainees captured as part of the ICE program. Sheriff Julian Whittington says accepting the federal detainees makes sense because of cuts to funding for housing state inmates. Whittington says the state only pays the parish $24 per inmate, while the feds pay $62 per inmate. And with budget cuts looming, Whittington says that he refuses to make citizens in Bossier pay more to house state inmates. From 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
Querbees Park in Shreveport about to turn 100, and the community comes together to give the aging park some much-needed upgrades. Even though the park is owned by the city and maintained by SPAR, the complex has fallen into disrepair, needs more than $1 million in upgrades. The Querbees Park Foundation and Shreveport Green have been working together to return the park to its former glory. Every dollar collected goes directly back to the park. The city, for their part, does plan to revitalize the pool and upgrade the tennis facility, though no timetable for that has been given. Senator John Kennedy's call for Governor John Bel Edwards' resignation came as a bit of a surprise to many. Kennedy is widely reported to be preparing a run for governor next year, and this could be the first of many salvos between the two. ULM political science professor Dr. Josh Stockley says calling for resignation is usually reserved for major violations, but not budget disputes.
I don't think Senator Kennedy's urge is at all appropriate. The governor's done nothing wrong. Normally you call for resignation when you have a gross dereliction of duty, and that's clearly not happened.
Kennedy's calling for Edwards to step down, saying his lack of leadership has resulted in the ongoing budget crisis. Now that the AT&T Time Warner corporate marriage has gotten the blessing of the courts, several companies will make a beeline for the altar. Comcast, in fact, has now made a $65 billion offer for the entertainment arm of Fox. They say you can't fight City Hall, but an angry South Texas woman tried something else. She gave a small bag of dead cockroaches to a city official to protest newly planted palm trees that she blames for more unwanted bugs in her neighborhood. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. .101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert and Erin in the morning. Robert's on vacation. Got my buddy Dan Keel here.
Hey.
We've got word from the American Legion. They're doing the proper flag disposal today, 4 o'clock?
4 o'clock. If you have a flag that needs properly disposing of, they're going to burn and have the people there and proper handling and the whole thing. So.
American Legion on Cross Lake.
On Cross Lake. It's post 14, I believe.
Thank you guys for doing that. We really appreciate it. I've got a couple of things I want to mention. One is don't forget Saturday is the Sunflower Festival in Gillum. If you've never been, this is spectacular. These sunflowers are 5-6 feet tall. They're everywhere. This festival is going on throughout the day. From 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's something to see. And you've got another big event going on.
While you're up in North Caddo Parish, go to Houston, which is just a little bit north of Gillum.
Yeah.
The Salute to Heroes, which is a family-friendly and free event, is going to be honoring all American veterans, including current, past, and present personnel, as well as law enforcement, fire, and EMS. And they're going to have a lot of cool things, entertainment, food, various displays of law enforcement, a helicopter. I don't know what all they're having.
Tomorrow?
It's the 16th, June 16th.
Okay.
It starts out at 8 o'clock
That's
with
Saturday,
motorcycle
right? Yeah.
Saturday. Starts out with motorcycle riders coming in to retrieve the colors and some biker games, bike show, and then they'll end up with kids' activities, train blow-ups, face painting, live entertainment with 8-track, and live demonstrations with many vendors. That's June 16th in Houston, Hosston. It's just off I-49. You can get there at 71 or LA2.
You could make the trip to Gillum, then to Houston. You could take them both in, and what a spectacular day. Honor the heroes, see one of the most beautiful sights. If people ask me the top festivals in Northwest Louisiana, of course you got the Red River Revel, Holiday, you got the biggies. But I always put the Sunflower Trail Days Festival on my list of the top 5. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It is absolutely spectacular. When we get back, we're going to start our discussion about crime and kind of whet your appetite, because after 8 o'clock, we're going inside the numbers.
Full bore.
Full bore. We are hashing it out. I got Greg Adams. He has been knuckling down on that computer, digging it up. What's true? What's perception? We're going to lay it all out there, because it really is. It's kind of shocking when you hear the details. You're going to go, huh, really? Didn't know that. You want to stick around for that just after 8. 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Right now, a few troubled spots, and Ruben's got a handle.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Uri Drive near Olive Street. And we have some traffic delays on Old Minden Road near East Texas Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today will be partly sunny with a high of 91, then patchy clouds and a low of 74 tonight. We'll have sun mixing with clouds tomorrow, high 93. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
I do want to thank you two gentlemen, because we'll wait. 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert's on vacation. Dan Keel is here.
Hey.
Maddie is at the controls. I forgot to turn on the Jack Spring electric shock buster button.
I did it.
But you got me.
It's working. We can try it anytime.
Look,
no, let's not try.
Just a little inside baseball, because some people like Robert, some people find him annoying, whatever.
Yeah.
But one good thing about Robert, no matter what you think about listening to him, he keeps you in line, doing what you're supposed to. And when he goes on vacation,
I go crazy?
You kind of unravel. I wouldn't say you go crazy, but all the things that you're supposed to do and you do when he's here, don't get accomplished.
Yeah, I'm scattered.
But
I get more scattered.
She plays the dingbat when Robert's here. She is the dingbat when he's not.
that is a great way to put it, actually. I mean,
I'm just slacking. I'm like, Robert gets to slack for a week. I'm slacking, and you pick it up.
No, what you do is you screw me and Dan over.
We could play musical chairs tomorrow and put her over there.
Oh, that could be really scary.
That'd be fun.
That could be really
She wouldn't make it through a first segment behind this board.
We'd end up with Howard Stern on the radio. I'd push so many wrong buttons, you don't know what would happen. Oh, it could get really crazy over there. I am intrigued by the crime numbers and all that. We're going to have a full hashing out of that after 8 o'clock.
You got a new toy.
I got a toy that is going to be at keelnews.com in just a few minutes. Greg is working on that, how you can see specific areas and dates of when crimes are happening, and you can look at the history. You can track, what's the worst year, what's the worst week.
I was about to say, you hear a lot of things and you see a lot of things online. Ooh, this is a terrible part of town. Now you can actually look and verify whether or not there are terrible things happening in a place where you may be under the impression bad things are happening, but it's actually not.
We're going to get into detail in that after the 8 o'clock hour, but I gotta gear up for this because this story has it's saddened me since it happened last week, and we haven't done anything on the air of late about it, but I'm going to do it now because we have been finding out so much more information, and it traces back to the horse that was found dead in the Circle K parking lot
on Pines
Road, right around the corner from us, where I actually went over there with Bristol. She's a horse lover, big time. She owns horses. She rides horses. She's everything to do with horses. And so she went with me. I had trouble even looking, I was not.
Was the horse deader than Elvis whenever you were there?
The horse was dead. Yeah, no doubt the horse was dead. And it was a young horse. Well, we found out that the horse was in transit from what's called the Thompson Horse Lot, but their website, the Thompson Horse Lot website, is killpinhorses.com. Okay, that's their website, Kill Pin Horses.
So they're not an animal rescue place.
No, they do attempt to rescue some horses. They do attempt to get horses to rescue groups. And there were 3 horses on this trailer that were en route from the Thompson place in Pitkin, Louisiana, which is somewhere down between Lake Charles, Lafayette. The horses were en route to Oklahoma, where there was a rescue group that had raised the money to take these 3 horses in.
So these are horses that were in the slaughter pipeline.
They were.
But they got pulled out to, quote-unquote, be rescued.
Yep. They put the pictures online. If anybody want to rescue these horses, here's the deadline before I ship them to Mexico. Well, these 3 had rescue funds raised and were en route. Well, this horse, it was a young horse, some even called it a pony, died en route. A local veterinarian was called out to the Circle K where the horse was in grave condition, and the vet determined on the scene the humane thing to do was to put the horse down, which they did. City folks had to be called in with the crane, with the dump truck, and take the horse to the landfill. So there was city dollars spent, on this, etc. Well, now the owner of the Thompson Kill Pen, so he took a lot of heat. He takes a lot of heat from horse lovers, and in some cases, rightly so, because this horse, how it got a medical certificate to travel is still a question we're working on. What veterinarian signed off on that, and why and how?
Yeah, I was about to say, a lot of people may not know, for horses in that condition, they have to literally get cleared by a doctor before they can hit the road.
Absolutely.
So it's hot, and it's in a trailer, and it's going from south of Leesville.
Yeah, to Oklahoma.
They
stopped several times to try to help the horse. Well, now the guy that owns the Thompson Kill Pen, he posted a video on Facebook, and it is online at keelnews.com. Well, it looks like they've now taken it down, because I'm looking for it now, and it looks like they've taken it down. But he posted a video saying, quote, and I'm quoting him now, "I've made a change starting today. I will no longer offer them to be rescued. Every time we have a group of horses that come in and are really emaciated, people blame me. It's not our fault. We just got them. I'm sick and tired of people bashing us. We will now send them directly to Mexico," which is where they're slaughtered.
It's illegal to slaughter them in the States.
It's illegal to slaughter them in the States. So he ships them directly to Mexico. He buys them at auction, or people surrender them to him, and then he tries to sell them online to rescue places. When he does not sell them, then he ships them to Mexico, where he sells them there. He had this silly video up that he's behind the wheel of his truck, and I'm sick and tired of getting bashed.
Oh, like a Facebook Live kind of thing?
Yeah, a Facebook Live thing. And we were able to share it yesterday at keelnews.com. I just clicked on it, and it says the video unavailable. So apparently he has taken it down.
Or just change his privacy settings where we can't see it.
That could be it too. But I have his quote in the post. It stirred up a lot of controversy. There are issues about many of these horses are former thoroughbred racing horses, and they shouldn't even be going to a kill shelter because the racetracks in Louisiana have a no-kill policy. And how is this happening? How are the horsemen sending their horses to a kill shelter and completely disobeying what the law is? There's a lot more to the story. We're still working on it. We haven't forgotten about it. But I'm just telling you, it just makes me sad. And in the horse world, people are so upset. And this guy, sometimes, you just need to be quiet and don't post stuff like that on your Facebook page. You're already under the gun.
He kind of doubled down, didn't he?
He did. Not the brightest thing to do. And I in some cases he's trying to do good, but folks will say, that's not what's happening. That's definitely not what's happening. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Taking a look at crime coming up after 8 o'clock. Digging into the numbers. And we'll check traffic next, right here on KEEL. .101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Ruby.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Uri Drive near Olive Street. And we have some traffic delays on Old Minden Road near East Texas Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today will be partly sunny with a high of 91, then patchy clouds and a low of 74 tonight. We'll have sun mixing with clouds tomorrow, high 93. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zaire.
The KEEL app is brought to you by Office Furniture Source. Download the app today. KEEL.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Maddie.
Two Shreveport boys will be in the field for the U.S. Open, which starts today. Sam Burns and Phillip Arbery both qualified for the field. Burns tees off at 11:30, Barbery at 1:30. You can watch the action on Fox Sports 1.
North America will be home to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The U.S., Canada, and Mexico came together to beat out Morocco for the right to host the event. According to reports, 10 of the 17 sites will be located in the U.S. Some of the front-running cities include Dallas and Houston. Speaking of the World Cup, the 2018 edition of the event kicks off today. Brazil is favored to win it all this year. And we're getting a rematch of one of the biggest boxing fights in a decade. Natty Golovkin and Canelo Alvarez have agreed to fight on September 15th. The first fight went the distance and ended in a split draw. And the Texas Rangers lost last night to the LA Dodgers 3-2. The Houston Astros, however, laid a beatdown on the Oakland A's, winning 13-5. From the KEEL Sports Desk, I'm Matt Parker.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Happy Flag Day to you today. And the disposal of flags, again, is this afternoon, 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock at the American Legion on Cross Lake. I believe it's post 14. They'll properly handle the flag. They got I guess they'll have the fire pit or whatever the proper procedure is. But they gave us a call after we were talking about it earlier and said that if you have a tattered or flag or whatever that needs disposing of, they will be doing that today at 4 p.m. So.
Please, if you've got a flag that's in bad condition, take it down, take it over there. It is kind of a very cool ceremony. I mean, it's very, it's done in such a respectful way, and it'll make you think really cool of our country. This is the time of year when the World Cup starts that I get excited about our country. Oh wait,
we're not in it. But you know, there is some good U.S. World Cup news. In 2026, we will be, North America will be getting it. 10 of the 17 locations will be in the United States, and on the short list to get a game or to be one of the locations are Dallas and Houston, so within driving distance.
When is the last time, you have to look it up real quick, the U.S. has not been in the World Cup? This, to me, is atrocious. I can't believe we lost to, what did my son say when I was talking to him about it? He goes, Mama, we lost to Trinidad and Tobago, or whatever that country's name is. He said, we don't deserve to be in the World Cup. And I thought, oh boy, because I don't remember in my lifetime of watching the World Cup. Maybe when I was a child, maybe, but
maybe you should start cheering for Germany or Brazil.
I have some other favorites.
They've participated in every World Cup since 1990 until this year.
Oh, man. It's depressing. But I am Brazil is picked to win by some. Germany's got a good team. I'm looking forward to watching it. I just love soccer. I really just love to watch it. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Shawnee.
Your morning cup of Sean. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
But here's what we know, and this is going to be interesting if the IG is going to tell the truth. It is not in dispute. Hillary Clinton made a decision against State Department rules, regulations to set up a private email server, a Platts River network, a mom and pop shop server company that put the server in a bathroom closet. You cannot bring classified top secret information off site. I mean, the idea is you want to protect American secrets. You want to protect. We've got to have intelligence protected in this country, and it didn't happen in this case.
The conservative underground meets later today on the Sean Hannity Show.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The intersection of Greenwood Road and Hearn Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're looking at some backed-up traffic on I-20 westbound. Starting at Spring and Market, it's backed up past Benton Road right now. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today will be partly sunny with a high of 91, then patchy clouds and a low of 74 tonight. We'll have sun mixing with clouds tomorrow, high 93. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zaire.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.
Good morning. Erin McCarty here. Dan KEEL is in for Robert.
Hey.
Got Maddie Parker at the controls. Lots to do this hour. In fact, if you have not heard, Greg Adams, he's on in the afternoon between 5 and 6, really goes in depth on a lot of big subjects. His crime take, if you're one of those who says, oh, crime is up in Shreveport, it's rampant, we got to get a handle on it, you need to hear this because you might be surprised by some of the things you hear. He's joining us in about 8 minutes, so you want to stick around for that. I've got the local news coming up this morning. We have tragedy where an elderly man has died in a fire. Lawmakers gearing up for yet, oh boy, another special session. And you know what? I go on a rant about Kirby's, and look at this. It's in the news today. We'll talk about that coming up as well. 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Traffic and weather together is on the way, and sports too, right here on KEEL.
Information. KEEL News now.
One man dead after a mobile home fire. The fire happened at the Given Mobile Home Park around 9 o'clock last night. According to Shreveport investigators, the blaze trapped the elderly man in his bedroom, ultimately leading to his death. No names have yet been released. The final act of this year's special session trilogy is less than a week away, with the administration and many lawmakers scrambling to find some extra cash for programs like TOPS. House Appropriations Chairman Cameron Henry says the Department of Health is one place the state should look if it wants to plug those budget gaps.
They came up with an additional $40 million. That was a surplus that they had that didn't tell anybody about it to the last possible moment. So I think people are really beginning to question their sincerity on exactly how much money they need.
The next special session starts on Monday. Jonathan Robinson, the man accused of killing his ex-girlfriend live on Facebook, indicted for first-degree murder. Robinson was originally arrested and charged with second-degree murder, but the grand jury upgraded the charge after hearing grisly details about the crime. Robinson also faces 7 counts of attempted first-degree murder related to a shootout with police. Community coming together to fix up an aging park. Matt Parker with that.
Quirby's Park in Shreveport is about to turn 100, and the community is coming together to give the aging park some much-needed upgrades. Even though the park is owned by the city and maintained by SPAR, the complex has fallen into disrepair over the years, needing more than $1 million in repairs. The Quirby's Park Foundation and Shreveport Green have been working together to return the park to its former glory. Every dollar collected goes directly back to the park. The city, for their part, plans to revitalize the pool and upgrade the tennis facility. From 1017 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Bossier Parish prisons have joined a program to hold federal detainees captured as part of the ICE program. Sheriff Whittington says accepting the federal detainees makes sense because of cuts to funding for housing state inmates. Today's the one-year anniversary of the shooting of Congressman Steve Scalise. He was hit in the hip by an assault rifle fire in a politically motivated shooting that targeted Republican lawmakers at a congressional baseball game. Scalise says his recovery was a tough journey, but he made it through with help from his family.
Put a lot more focus to me on the things that are important in my life. And first is my family, and just being able to spend that quality time and appreciate that quality time with my family has been really important.
You can see the baseball game tonight on C-SPAN. And a woman in Minnesota is okay, but she's lucky. For some reason, most say it was alcohol-induced, the woman stuck her head in a truck's oversized tailpipe while attending a music festival. Her head got stuck. Firefighters had to use a power saw to get her free. She was cited for underage drinking and escorted out. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. .101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Greenwood Road and Hearn Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're looking at some backed-up traffic on I-20 westbound. Starting at Spring and Market, it's backed up past Benton Road right now. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today will be partly sunny with a high of 91, then patchy clouds and a low of 74 tonight. We'll have sun mixing with clouds tomorrow, high 93. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zaire.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin in the morning. Woo, if you could see behind the scenes. You can kind of see us on Facebook. You can't hear us until we actually turn the mics on. But if you read lips, ooh, you
we're in trouble.
You just had a fun few minutes. Robert's on vacation. Dan KEEL is here. We're going to round table this because our buddy Greg Adams, he is the biggest nut job for numbers that I think I've ever met.
I call him a stat guy. That sounds better.
It does. Thank you. That sounds better.
Nut job for numbers is not, like that one?
No.
You have been digging into the crime numbers for months now. And let's start with, what's the biggest thing you found? Everybody, crime's up. What'd you find?
So this is actually about like a year in progress now, because about this time last year, we had almost a similar conversation, and you had said something like, go find out how much worse it is than it used to be. Because that's the phrase that everyone hears is
Sure.
it's never been this bad. This is worse than ever before.
Right.
So I started digging into it, and I went through the FBI's uniform crime reporting. I went through the city's annual crime reports. I got every piece of information I could find. And what I ended up finding is that the last 10 years, 8 years of Shreveport has been the safest in recorded history.
Wait a minute. Say that again slowly.
So I actually have a graph, and I don't know if
safest.
There we go. Yeah.
In recorded history.
This is the safest period outside of the late 1970s.
Okay.
So basically, from 1978 through today, we are in the safest 5-year period in Shreveport's history.
Okay. KEELnews.com. If you want to check these numbers, you want to look at them, you've got this website you sent me to that is just incredible. Describe this. It actually shows neighborhood by neighborhood and crimes.
Yes, this is actually linked from the Shreveport City's website. So this is something that the city has provided, and it does have.
So did they monkey with it? Is it accurate?
No, it's not run by the city, and that's one of the things I hear a lot with this too. Is that we can't take the city's crime reporting as factual because they manipulate and change the. That is such an egregious federal offense that if anyone has any evidence of that whatsoever, somebody would have reported it by now.
Let me tell you something, though.
Conspiracy at that level.
Not necessarily that it's a conspiracy, but what you call something does have some discretion. If someone breaks into a car, it may legally be a burglary, but now they call it a theft from a car.
Which is fine because as far as violent crime reporting goes, not even on the radar.
If you're dead. Yeah, if you're dead like Elvis, you're dead.
So the way that they measure this, and there are two standards that they use, which is how they compare city to city, which is how you can compare someplace like Shreveport to Miami, is that you have to look at the violent crimes, which are identified as, I have them in front of me, homicide, rape, armed robbery, and aggravated assault.
And those are the 4 biggies.
Those are the ones.
Ag assault is on that because that's really a low-level misdemeanor in Louisiana. It's like I threatened to do something to you.
That's, again, how they can make sure that they measure accurately across all places because it's not in other states. In other states, it's a felony. So they take those 4 and they mash them up, and then they go crimes per 100,000 residents. That's the other way that they make sure. Per capita. So they make sure that they can measure Shreveport versus Miami versus New York versus Chicago.
Shreveport versus Bossier.
Yes, which is also kind of a weird number when you look at it. Because if I asked you how much safer is Bossier than Shreveport,
way safer.
It's 2.5 times more violent according to the numbers.
I heard you do that yesterday.
Monroe is like the state's worst city per capita.
So let's do some of the numbers in terms of compare numbers from this year to 10 years ago to 20 years ago. I want to come when we take a break in a minute. I want to come back and I want you to explain what you said yesterday about why everybody's talking about how crime is so high, but do the digits.
So if we look at the total violent crimes for 2017 is what I have the most recent number. It was 12,665 total violent crimes in the city. Sounds like a big number.
1,000 a month.
But if you jump back to 2007, that number's over 14,000. If you jump back to
1,200 a month.
2004, 16,000. If you jump back to 1999, we're talking 18,000. 1997, 20,000. 96, 23,000. 94, 24,000. 1990, 21,000. 1989, 25,000. 88, 87, 86, 85, all above 20,000.
We're at 12,000
for
2017.
And if you go back from, we never see a number that's that low between 2007 and 1977.
But you'll hear the former mayor say we had the fewest murders during his tenure.
Which is factually accurate.
Okay.
Now, that is something to note, is that from the time span of about 2007 to 2014, that is if you're going to drill down, that is the absolute safest in recorded history.
Okay.
It has gone up recently. 2016 and 2017 were up from those numbers. But 2016 and 2017 were drastically down from everything from the late 70s to the early 2000s.
There's got to be a figure in there in your number gibbering that is higher. More burglaries, there's more purse snatchings. Is there something that is going up that's making people go crazy?
If it is, I can't find it.
Wow.
I mean, I've got the year-to-date numbers for 2017 to 2018.
Car break-ins?
Now there, and we just talked about that a little bit because there are some adjusted numbers for the way that things are being charged. There are some additional. The only crime numbers that are up from 2018 to 2017 year to date are shoplifting and auto accessory theft. Which auto accessory theft is so specific that probably didn't
taking
exist.
my phone out. Taking my phone out of my car.
That didn't exist in the 70s and 80s, so that number's going to be up. But what do you think the percentage increase in murders is from 2017 to 2018, year to date?
Oh, it's got to be 12, 13%.
It's down 56%.
I say it's
wow.
Okay. Trick question.
Yeah, trick question.
No
Total
doubt.
robbery in the city year to date is down 39% from last year to this year. Total overall crime in the city is down 14% year to date from 2017 to 2018.
You need to go to work for the mayor, I guess. Or the police chief or something.
If Bill Gooden retires, that's what.
Let's go ahead. Let's keep playing this game. I like this game.
Okay.
What is the safest statistical neighborhood, safest district in the city?
5.
You're just playing games.
I don't know. What is it?
It's District 13. It's downtown.
Downtown. Yeah.
So as
no way. You're
as
lying.
you
That's
hear
not
from,
really a district. I mean, it is. It is.
It's a district that includes Riverfront Entertainment
But
District
there's
in
no
the downtown
homes there.
area east of Market.
Yeah.
But when you talk about
Take 13 out. What is it?
when you take 13 out, you're looking at District number 2.
Okay.
Which is what neighborhood is that?
District 2 is
That's
Free
down the
State,
riverfront.
Cherokee Park, Dixie Highway.
No way.
Yeah.
Serious.
And
So-
the worst?
The worst is District number 5. The worst.
Okay.
So District number 5,
What neighborhoods? People don't know numbers that are listening.
Anderson Island, Dixie Garden, Shreve Island, Broadmoor, Waterside, South Highland, Cedar Grove.
Okay.
That neighborhood is twice as violent as 5 other neighborhoods.
Can you track the change from District 5 now to District 5 10 years ago?
If I can dig into the Shreveport numbers, all of these numbers are they're public record. So they
It's
can't
all-
just go away.
And the link to all of it is at keelnews.com. When we come back, I want to know why everybody thinks crime is so bad in Shreveport if the numbers tell a different story. Will you talk about that next?
Yep.
Okay, that is next.
I got a correlation
He's-
too. If he hadn't hit it,
he's-
I'm gonna try to nail it
Okay,
myself.
wait, he's not our numbers nut job. What is he?
Stat guy.
Stat guy. Okay, that's better. That's all coming up next on 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Greenwood Road and Hearn Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're looking at some backed-up traffic on I-20 westbound. Starting at Spring and Market, it's backed up past Benton Road right now. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today will be partly sunny with a high of 91, then patchy clouds and a low of 74 tonight. We'll have sun mixing with clouds tomorrow, high 93. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
FM, 710 Keel. Here's Maddie.
Two Shreveport boys will be in the field for the U.S. Open, which starts today. Sam Burns and Philip Barbary both qualified for the field. Burns tees off at 11:30, Barbary at 1:30. You can watch the action on Fox Sports 1. North America will be home to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The U.S., Canada, and Mexico came together to beat out Morocco for the right to host the event. According to reports, 10 of the 17 sites will be located in the U.S. Some of the front-running cities include Dallas and Houston. Speaking of the World Cup, the 2018 edition of the event kicks off today. Brazil is favored to win it all this year. And we're getting a rematch of one of the biggest boxing fights in a decade. Natty Golovkin and Canelo Alvarez have agreed to fight on September 15th. The first fight went the distance and ended in a split draw. And the Texas Rangers lost last night to the LA Dodgers 3-2. The Houston Astros, however, laid a beatdown on the Oakland A's, winning 13-5. From the KEEL Sports Desk, I'm Matt Parker.
Start talking. 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin in the morning. Robert's on vacation. I've got my pal Dan Keel here.
So can I get the FBI, not the FBI fangirls, the SPD fangirls to call us at the hotline?
Yes.
Or not call
Text.
us. You can't call us.
Can't call.
Text or send pictures, whatever you want to do. Cuss us, comment on us. 318-392-1884 is the Shreveport Security Systems text line.
We've been going through the numbers with our stat guy, Greg Adams. You actually can hear Greg every afternoon from 5 to 6, the Greg Adams Show. Lots of great information, in-depth stuff that, you know, I would never think of. He thinks of the strangest
He's not
things.
only a numbers guy, but he also is in touch with a group of people that are younger than we are.
Well, okay.
He's a millennial.
Technically,
okay?
I'm a millennial.
Yeah.
But only by like 2 months, and I feel like the elder of the group. I look at the
senior statesman.
Now, you're a millennial, almost a what?
Gen X.
Okay, gotcha.
My wife is Gen X. I'm a millennial.
Okay, gotcha. These numbers you're showing, it's KEELnews.com will get you the link to this LexisNexis report where you can see the analytics. You can see what day of the week is most dangerous, what neighborhoods are most dangerous. But your theory about why people have the perception crime is so bad right now in Shreveport is intriguing. Share that with folks.
So when I look back at 1992 and 1993, and I'm looking at the homicide rates that are in the 70s, and I'm thinking about the modern day homicide rates that are in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, barely into the 40s, and people are acting like there's a murder every single day in the city of Shreveport. And even just looking back to, okay, how many murders were in the city of Shreveport last month? If you had to guess off the top of your head, anybody
in May.
April. Sorry, that's the most recent numbers we have is April.
Okay.
So how many homicides were there in the city in April?
4.
8.
There were 3.
3. Okay.
But it feels like if you go online and talk to people, if you hear people say things, it's like there are 12 homicides every month.
But that's just dead people. I mean, there are people being shot at. Do they track that?
Now this goes back to the whole idea that you brought up of how do they charge that? Is that charged as an aggravated assault? Is that charged as something else?
Or what if no one got arrested?
If nobody gets arrested, that's a metric that's not measured city to city. So that could be something that maybe somebody down the road creates a per capita measurement of how many shots are fired. But at the same time, if somebody's target practicing in their backyard in a state like ours versus a state like, I don't know, New Jersey,
Delaware, yeah.
it's a little bit different. But I think that the perception problem has more to do with the fact that we have unlimited, unfiltered access to information immediately in today's world.
Yeah.
The way that social media works now, the way that we are completely connected, back in the early 90s, you had 3 or 4 trusted news sources that you would hear you hear your news on the way to work at 8 a.m. on the 10s and 5s, and then you would pick up a paper at lunch maybe, and you would read something for the day before, and then 10 o'clock you'd get your news, and you would see that there were 2 or 3 shootings in town. That was it. That was your exposure to it. But in today's world, when we have a shooting in the city, especially if there are police involved in a way that there's a standoff, every single media outlet, and not just media outlet, every single person in a 5-mile to 10-mile radius with a cell phone is running to the crime scene to try and get a video, try and get pictures, trying to say they were there, trying to share it with their friends.
Scanner apps on your phone.
Scanner apps on your phones. You have access nonstop, and everybody wants to share their feelings and or opinions on every single crime or murder.
That was close to me. I knew somebody. I had a truck like that.
So you see it and you hear about it all the time.
All the time.
So it's got to be more.
It's an echo chamber.
It's pervasive.
You're inside an echo chamber. You log into your phone. The average is like 12 times a day people check their social media. So if every time you check that, even if you're seeing the same link to the same story, you just start to feel like it's all the time.
Well, it's the same thing with the corruption issue. Yes. Because people are on saying we're corrupt. Everything's corrupt. We're corrupt. Everyone's corrupt.
Yeah, the city is mucking with the numbers, so they're not right.
Which is just that to me, like there's no weaker argument than the idea that in order for a conspiracy to work, you would have to have everybody at every level involved in it completely on the same side all the time, not willing to flip on anything. So if there's any division whatsoever within the Shreveport Police Department, say between, I don't know, hypothetically, a director of a police union and a city police chief, if there's any kind of friction there, and there's some kind of gigantic conspiracy to manipulate the data they're reporting to the FBI,
right,
somebody flips on the other person.
Sure.
But, I think there have been some methodology changes over the years
and
to
we
get
have
more in
talked.
line perhaps with other cities so they can compare apples to apples.
Yeah, and like we had talked about just a little bit, one city may call something else, but if it's baseball steroid era, if everybody's cheating, everybody's still on the same plane.
Okay, can you stay around? Because Matt's got a theory, too. I want to hear your opinion about his theory.
Okay.
If he wants to share, we shall see. He's feeling overworked over there right now. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Ruby.
The intersection at North Spring Street and East Stoner Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Barksdale Boulevard near Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today will be partly sunny with a high of 91, then patchy clouds and a low of 74 tonight. We'll have sun mixing with clouds tomorrow, high 93. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zaire.
information. KEEL News now.
Today, the one-year anniversary of the shooting of Congressman Steve Scalise. He was hit in the hip by an assault rifle fire in a politically motivated shooting that targeted Republican lawmakers at the baseball game. Scalise was out for months, but says he was anxious to get back to work.
To be able to get back and do the job I love. I really did love doing my job, serving Southeast Louisiana in Congress and serving as majority whip in leadership, and to be able to have that ability to come back.
You can see the game tonight on C-SPAN. One man dead after a mobile home fire in Shreveport. The fire happened at the Gibbon Mobile Home Park around 9 o'clock last night. According to investigators, the blaze trapped the elderly man in his bedroom, ultimately leading to his death. A neighbor attempted to rescue the man but was not successful. The investigation continues. Bossier Parish housing federal prisoners. Matt Parker has that.
Bossier Parish prisons have joined a program to hold federal detainees captured as part of the ICE program. Sheriff Julian Whittington says accepting the federal detainees makes sense because it cuts the funding for housing state inmates. Whittington says the state only pays the parish $24 per inmate, while the feds pay $62 per inmate. And with budget cuts looming, Whittington says that he refuses to make citizens in Bossier pay more to house state inmates. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Querbees Park in Shreveport about to turn 100, and the community comes together to give the aging park some much-needed upgrades. Even though the park is owned by the city and maintained by SPAR, the complex has fallen into disrepair, needs more than $1 million in upgrades. The Querbees Park Foundation and Shreveport Green have been working together to return the park to its former glory. Every dollar collected goes directly back to the park. The city, for their part, does plan to revitalize the pool and upgrade the tennis facility, though no timetable for that has been given. Senator John Kennedy's call for Governor John Bel Edwards' resignation came as a bit of a surprise to many. Kennedy is widely reported to be preparing a run for governor next year, and this could be the first of many salvos between the two. ULM political science professor Dr. Josh Stockley says calling for resignation is usually reserved for major violations, but not budget disputes.
I don't think Senator Kennedy's urge is at all appropriate. The governor's done nothing wrong. Normally you call for resignation when you have a gross dereliction of duty, and that's clearly not happened.
Kennedy's calling for Edwards to step down, saying his lack of leadership has resulted in the ongoing budget crisis. Now that the AT&T Time Warner corporate marriage has gotten the blessing of the courts, several companies will make a beeline for the altar. Comcast, in fact, has now made a $65 billion offer for the entertainment arm of Fox. They say you can't fight City Hall, but an angry South Texas woman tried something else. She gave a small bag of dead cockroaches to a city official to protest newly planted palm trees that she blames for more unwanted bugs in her neighborhood. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. 1017 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin in the morning. Dan Keel in for Robert.
Hey.
Got Greg Adams in studio. You can hear him every afternoon, 5 to 6, The Greg Adams Show. Detailed, in-depth coverage of things you're not going to hear anywhere else, right?
Well, I hope not.
You never will. Matt had a theory about why the perception right now is so crazy. Explain that again, Matt.
Well, much like Greg said, with social media and things just getting pounded in your brain over and over and over again, all you hear about is crime and murder and this and that and all these horrible, horrible things. And then you pair Greg's theory and that actually happening with your ideas of, well, the city looks like trash and, it looks abandoned here. So not only do you always hear it's dangerous, but in your head, it looks dangerous. So when you pair those two things together, wow, Shreveport's a crap hole and you're going to die no matter where you go, stay in your house or move to Bossier, which just isn't actual reality.
That makes a ton of sense because
you drive to an area and it's overgrown grass and there's businesses closed and
if you drove through a place that had big beautiful murals on every building and everything was manicured on the lawns. Yeah, if you drive through Disney World and then you're told, "Hey, this place is super violent, you need to be careful." It looks like Candyland outside. There's no way it's violent.
Yeah.
But we do have a post-apocalyptic world on the side of most freeways here, and so that fits the narrative. But I think that's exactly right. I mean, if it looks like it could be true, you're more inclined to believe that it's true.
Well, there's also an idea of broken windows that it self-propagates. Crime picks up on that mess.
Yeah. I mean, if you watch every crime show on television, whether it's The Shield or Justified or whatever, all those places where all those drug deals and murders are going on, that's what Shreveport looks like. So if you pair that with all the information you hear, which may or may not be true, in your head, wow, this is dangerous and I need to get the hell out of here. Your flight,
they use this as a movie double.
Yeah. Matt, tie Greg to the chair because I want him to talk about something else when we come back.
Oh, okay.
Don't let him leave. The mayoral race, the canvas is a-changing. And we're going to talk about that when we get back. I'm going to keep him locked in here so he can't get out.
I'm not tying any man up.
1017 FM 710 Keel. Here's Ruby.
The intersection at North Spring Street and East Stoner Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Barksdale Boulevard near Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today will be partly sunny with a high of 91, then patchy clouds and a low of 74 tonight. We'll have sun mixing with clouds tomorrow, high 93. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
.1017 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin in the morning. He is out this week. He'll be back on Monday. I've got my buddy Dan Keel here.
Trying to fill in.
And we've tied Greg Adams to the chair to make him stay and work double duty today. You can hear him every afternoon from 5 to 6, the Greg Adams Show. Lots of great detailed information on the stories that everybody in town's talking about. Matt Parker's here. Got some inside info, Greggy Poo, about the mayoral race that Stephen Jackson is going to announce 1 week from today. He's going to do it, I'm told, at Proud Mary's, I think, downtown. He's got a little event planned. I haven't gotten my formal invite from him yet, but some people have.
Until you get that, I don't believe it.
I mean, I'm not a check writer, so those invites went out to check writers, I think. So I don't give money to politicians just because of what I do, and I'm broke, so it pretty much changes things in the mayor's race a lot, don't you think?
I think it does. And I mean, I have some opinions that I don't think it's fair to share, again, because of what we do. But as far as the landscape goes, I just feel like this could further divide an electorate.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you're talking about something that in major national politics, when you have a governing body, whether it's the Republican National Committee or a Democratic National Committee, they're in place in a lot of senses at this local and more statewide level to be able to take candidates who are similar in nature and try to guide them.
Right.
And locally, we don't have something like that. And if we do, they're not powerful enough to tell somebody, wait till the next cycle. So I think you're going to see a lot of people who are very similar start to get into this now.
It's kind of like it's not your turn, kind of a
not necessarily
idea.
That's not your turn, but you are either going to hurt yourself or you're going to hurt somebody who is already there. You're basically going to do damage to the cause, like the joint cause, which is why you have a national committee, is that if you had two candidates who were extremely similar going up against each other, they're either going to back one over the other or they're going to convince the other one to maybe, if it's a gubernatorial race, they're going to, hey, how about you drop down to a House race?
I'm not so sure that Stephen Jackson, though, is going to be necessarily because he's black, is going to be strictly breaking up the Adrian Perkins vote.
Let me give you a little history, because folks new to town may not know this. There have been two camps in our African community in Shreveport. You had the Alphonse Jackson camp. You had the Greg Tarver camp. For many, many, many moons, and people may say I'm speaking out of turn and I don't know what I'm talking about, but truth be known, that's what you had. Lydia Jackson, daughter of Alphonse Jackson, has butted heads with Greg Tarver for years as well. You've had those two camps butting heads. Now you have Cedric Glover in the Jackson. I mean, he kind of hangs with those folks, and now you have the Glover Tarver butting of heads. This puts Stephen Jackson, who's in the Glover camp, against Adrian Perkins. Everybody says is in the Tarver camp. You put them head to head. You split that vote, with Ollie trying to get part of that vote too. It's going to leave one of the Republicans an easy walk to the runoff, no doubt.
What if Stephen Jackson, though, becomes the law and order candidate and takes away some of Talaferro's influence?
But that's more where I'm playing right now, is that you have a candidate who is potentially going to enter the race who is not specifically targeting one person or one camp, but this changes all of it because he can draw. This is more about what Stephen Jackson is going to do in the race than what anyone else threatens to do to Stephen Jackson. Maybe that's how I should have phrased this. He has an impact on all of the other candidates more so than those candidates have an impact on him, which is why if you were like a national committee and you had kind of your lineup right now for a gubernatorial primary and all of a sudden you had a dominant candidate want to enter the race and you've already put the legwork in, you're going to go to that person and say like, hey, maybe look at this, maybe go do this, hold off for a little bit, and we can string this together.
Will this refocus what they have to do, though? Because right now, it's bash Ollie. She hasn't done anything. Now they got to almost bash each other. Will you see that dynamic? Are they going to ease up on her because she's 73?
No.
She,
Oh, I think
not going to happen
things
at
may
all.
get worse for her.
That's what this race is going to be.
Bash Ollie.
Unfortunately, and it's not necessarily entirely her fault. It's just she's on top of the mountain. She's in first place. Somebody's got to take her down to win.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything she can do to change the perception, the way we're going? Everybody thinking our town's in the crapper?
Well, like we just went over with, and I think that's part 2 on the crime stuff, is that we're in the middle of a mayor race. And crime is far and away the number one because it's easy. And because a lot of people don't take the time to actually go look at the numbers, they just hear the narrative, they accept the narrative. Where if you actually had to dig into it, if you talk about jobs, there's so many different ways that you can look at jobs. And if anybody in the country had the magic bullet for solving jobs, it would have been done.
And that would be the way that Ollie walks back into her job if we get a major jobs announcement. That's the middle income jobs here.
That we are too close right now for that to really have an effect.
Dude, were you surprised to hear the mayor's economic development point person, Arlena Acree, last week, be told on KEEL when she dragged her in the interview with us that she's also in charge of blight? Shouldn't she be traveling? Shouldn't she be out there meeting with corporations and trying to... Why is our economic development person the point person for blight? That sounded odd to me.
We could do a whole nother... I could spend 3 hours with you on ITEP and economic development because I think that there are large portions of this country, and I think we fall into that as a state and as a city, who go about it the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Because she didn't throw SPAR under the bus either.
No.
And they're in charge of taking care of the facility.
But I think that's actually the majority of the voters not even registering to them. It's like that's the idea of the difference between SPAR and economic development is so far off that I don't think the majority of voters are going to go into a ballot box and go, they did have 6-foot grass on 3132 back in the spring.
They don't care.
I'm going to cast a vote based on that.
You know what Stephanie Lynch told me when I rode her neighborhood with her? I asked her about that, about parks, about what do your people want? What do the people in Moortown, Sunset Acres want? She said they want their stuff on the curb picked up.
Yeah.
When they put their trash out, they want the trash picked up, and they want to stop hearing shots at night.
Well, those are very simple things.
All over town. Everybody wants that.
But we are too focused on the pie in the sky, ITEP. We're going to bring GM back to town. We're going to do all this stuff. We're going to bring a Pelicans. We're so focused on this 30,000-foot view of the city that we can't even do the basics. Like, if the basics of the city operated really well, then we probably wouldn't be too upset over the Cross Bayou debacle. We wouldn't be too upset over a lot of this other stuff that happens if we woke up every day and had a functioning city.
Right. But it may be too late to her to try to fix these things now.
Right, it's way too late.
Do you keep her bottled up during this campaign for the most part? Do you put her out to forums? Do you put her out in debates? Or do you keep her kind of tight?
I honestly think that at this point, anything that she does short of a Howard Dean, her candidacy is it's sewed up. She has a record that she's not going to change over the next few months.
She doomed?
I don't say doomed, no, because if we go back to the idea of people jumping into the race, as soon as that gets spread thin, as soon as that vote gets spread thin,
she's got a base.
Literally anything can happen.
Yeah, because she's got a base, and she could get 22%, and that 22 folks are telling me 22% gets you in the runoff.
Absolutely.
You're in the runoff.
What do we have right now?
Yeah. 10?
We're
Is it
10 to a dozen candidates right now. If you get 22% out of that, it's over. You don't even do the runoff.
Right.
Just call it a day.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be fun to watch. I'm waiting to see. I'm also hearing another name being mentioned.
No, I am not.
You're not.
I'm not.
Wait till I tell you this name. It's not me either. Matthew Lynn. That would shock me. That would shock me. I've texted. I'm asking him. We'll see.
I think he may fall into that same camp of not this time, maybe next time.
Okay. Interesting to watch. It's going to be a fun year. I'm getting excited already. Sorry. 1017 FM 710 Keel. Here's Ruben in traffic.
The intersection at North Spring Street and East Stoner Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Barksdale Boulevard near Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today will be partly sunny with a high of 91, then patchy clouds and a low of 74 tonight. We'll have sun mixing with clouds tomorrow, high 93. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zaire.
Listening to American Ground Radio's Morning Minute.
A plan to split California into 3 states will go before the voters in November. It would be the first time a state has been split up since West Virginia left Virginia during the Civil War.
And this won't be a quick fix. Yes, California is a very beautiful state, but it has devolved into something unrecognizable. In Los Angeles alone, homelessness has increased 75%, and there's rampant open drug use on the streets in San Francisco. California is a modern example of the failure of progressive socialism. It creates only 2 classes of individuals, the incredibly wealthy and the incredibly poor.
The problems with California, not that it's too big, it's that they keep electing people who keep supporting policies that are doomed to fail.
American Ground Radio, where building a better America begins with building a better us. Return each weeknight from 6 to 7 p.m. with Louis R. Avalone and Stephen Parr on 1017 FM and 710 Keel and streaming live at keelnews.com.
.117 FM 710 Keel. Don't forget, this is Flag Day. Several events are going on. American Legion, Cross Lake, 4 o'clock today. Proper disposal of the flag. Here's Commando.
While most Americans will shrug off yesterday's massive $84 billion takeover of Time Warner by AT&T, it really is a big deal. Kim Commando with your Wednesday Consumer Tech Update. When big mergers are opposed by government, it's generally because competition would decrease, and that's never good for consumers. Staples and OfficeMax once wanted to merge. That was called a horizontal merger. Both companies sold the same products, and consumer choices would shrink. But yesterday's AT&T takeover of Time Warner was a rarer vertical merger. Time Warner owns CNN, HBO, Warner Brothers, and the list goes on. So the merger was extraordinary because the companies that create your entertainment will also distribute it and gain even more control over what they can charge you for it. President Trump opposed the deal. It's a big defeat for the Justice Department. But media merger mania is in the air as Disney now buys Fox, and rumors fly about CBS, A&E, and many more. I'm Kim Commando.
1017 FM and 710 KEEL. In-depth coverage.
This is State Representative Dodie Horton. Love to get my day started listening to Robert and Erin, keeping us all informed on things that really matter to all of us here in Bossier Parish.
We are KEEL. 1017 FM and 710 KEEL.
1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Thank you, Greg, for all your time this morning. We appreciate it. He'll be on this afternoon at 5. Right now, here's Ruby.
The intersection at North Spring Street and East Stoner Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Barksdale Boulevard near Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today will be partly sunny with a high of 91, then patchy clouds and a low of 74 tonight. We'll have sun mixing with clouds tomorrow, high 93. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 1017 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.